Welcome to System Dynamics Online Tutorials. In this application we're going to cover purchase order receipt. Under the purchase order module within the processing we have the receiving suite of applications, and we're going to cover stock receipt by purchase order. The application, when it's entered, is automatically in query mode, so as the system comes up we are positioned at the purchase order that we want to receive against. And I can use a list of values to see all purchase orders out there that are valid for receiving, or simply call up the purchase order that I wish to do the receipt against. And execute the query. And we're presented with the particular detail information of that product. If there was a consignment here, this would be displayed. The vendor information is displayed as to who I'm receiving it from and within what warehouse it's going to come into. If I wanted to print a receiving copy at this point in time, I simply print the receiving copy, and that can be done for purposes of approval, so that there's some approval of the shipper, receiver, etc. actually receiving the PO, and I can print a receiving copy up until any point in time of actually doing and committing a receipt to the system. I'm also, if this was a multi-line receipt where there was a lot and I didn't want to go down through each given receipt, I could do a receive outstanding, which automatically takes this ordered amount and the outstanding amount and receives the full amount that's required for each detail line on the PO. It's important to note here that if this was a 200 line purchase order with 200 line receipts and a receive outstanding, it would automatically receive everything on those 200 lines, and in a lot of cases that might not be good. You can actually at the system level define to the system the number of detail lines to auto receive. So if I only wanted to auto receive the first 5 lines or 4 lines here that I actually see, I can set that at the system level in the system maintenances, and when I receive outstanding it will do it in those groups of lines. So that stops the entire 200 to 300, 400, 500 line purchase order from being fully received, which would be bad. So that's what this receive outstanding does. It is coordinated with that default setting, but if that's not set, it simply just receives everything that's outstanding on the PO. In the bottom half, I have the specific detail lines of the purchase order with the ordered amount and the outstanding amount received, so that I can do partial receive records with this, and my outstanding will be depleted, so that it'll show me I only have 400 left or 300 left, 400 to receive, etc. The suffix number would be automatically generated by the system, and the purchase order here for the unit and the stocking unit is displayed. And as I come down through the system, I can see the delivery information, and this was set up when the purchase order was entered to actually take this particular line item and deliver to the shop floor. So if I wanted to, if I've set up the purchase order with different delivery to messages, they're displayed per detail line and can be seen as to where each one of these lines are going to be distributed within my office location, etc. The reference number, again, is information only, was set up on the purchase order. It's displayed here, and the line that it's associated with. Simply tabbing through that, I come down to the received quantity. If it's the full amount that I've received, the system will automatically default to it, so I don't have to actually key anything in. If it's other, of course, other than what was ordered, I can actually key it in at that point. The cost factor comes into play here automatically by the system. It'll default to the cost that's been set up according to what the purchase order went out by, in this case $2.50. Of course, if it was different, I would key it in there as to what the vendor's charging me, since it's right on the PO packing slip, etc. that came with the goods. If this is the final time that I'm going to do any type of receipts here, I can finalize that receipt simply by finalizing it, and that is only set if this is the last time I'm going to receive. If this is set, that this line will disappear for future stock receipts by purchase order from here, because I've flagged it as there is no more receipts against this line item. Normally, if this was partially receipted, like say only 100 came, but something was going to come later, I would simply put in the 100 here and leave this flag untouched. The receiving date is automatically populated by the system to the system date, and a receipt type I can actually set as a gratis quality control or stock as to where it's coming into, or just simply leave it blank, an information only type receipt function at that line level. If I accept everything here, I'm telling the system that I'm receiving no more of this receipt for this purchase order by setting this final flag, and as far as this PO 8135 is concerned, it's been fully received. So now I can simply save this to the system, and the system automatically say it must be coming into stock since he didn't choose one, and it generates a receipt suffix number of 492 suffix number 1 and finishes that receipt of the particular purchase order.